If we go on the right end of the curve, their rate is, what is their rate? All the way over at the end. 14 per minute. Okay. So that's their rate. Then we had them. Then we had them stand up. Now here they're quiet breathing and they're reclining. Lying down on their back. Now we had them stand up. Now, when they stood up, I'm exaggerating a little bit. When they stood up, what happened to their breathing rate? Slowed down. And what happened to their depth? The depth is the height of the curve. So the curve got taller. Okay, maybe I didn't draw it, but on your chart you can see it very easily. So when you stand up versus lying down, all other things being equal, they're still just quiet breathing. Why did their rate go down and their depth go up? That's for you to answer at home or somewhere. Right? Everybody understand the question? Why did their depth go up? They were breathing, they started to breathe deeper and slower. This wasn't forced, this was just quiet breathing. All right, now the next one, the person is reading out loud. You see what they're doing. And their rate was 12 per minute. And what happens to the curve? What's the curve? Now the curve is pretty much like quiet breathing, right? Skip one. Standing. Oh, okay, wait a minute, let's back up a minute. I was reading the one below it. They're not reclining, they're sitting. Okay, they're sitting. Now they're reclining. Okay? And now they're standing. Here's the one below. Okay. So here they are sitting. There's their rate. Here they are reclining, lying on their back. What happens? Their rate goes down and the depth goes up. The question is, why? Now they're standing, and the standing is pretty much what? Pretty much the same as reclining. Right? Look at your paper. The question is why? Why is standing slower and deeper than sitting? And why is it pretty much the same as reclining? All right, now they're reading out loud. What is their pattern? They're reading out loud. Okay. What are they doing periodically? Reading out loud. What are they doing periodically?
Forced expiration.
Controlled what? So it's inspiration, expiration.
Expiration.
Now a controlled expiration. This is what it looks like. This is the expiration, down is expiration. And you see now and then you have that what? Controlled expiration. I have to control my expiration when I talk. Okay. Now, they're swallowing. Okay? Their breathing is okay. Then we tell them, number 5, we tell them to stop swallowing. Stop, basically stop breathing. That's holding their breath. Okay, so what does breath holding look like? They're not breathing. So what's it look like?
Straight line.
Straight line. Number 6, you're doing a math problem. When you do any sort of problem, what are they doing periodically? What? They're holding their breath. When you concentrate on something, it doesn't have to be a math problem, but now we're not talking about 2 plus 2. It doesn't have to be algebra, etc. But when you concentrate on something, you tend to hold your breath periodically. You watch any athletes, let's say basketball players, getting ready for a free throw, and they're standing there and they're bouncing the ball, and then they pick up the ball, and then they do what? They hold their breath. When you concentrate on something, even physical, something like that, and you're going to do it one time and then stop and do it again, you tend to hold your breath, which is okay. Okay. What other times might you hold your breath? Like this sort of thing, when you're concentrating. You do it many, many times. What?
I would say shooting a target.
Shooting a target, bow and arrow, rifle. Okay. How about when you're in here? When might you do it?
Drawing a spirograph.
What? do what?
Drawing a spirograph.
Drawing the spirograph. Okay, good. Any type of concentration, you tend to hold your breath. Now, if you only do it for a second, you're not going to hold your breath. But if it's a continuous problem for at least a few seconds, you tend to hold your breath periodically. Okay. 7, threading a needle. Of course, to thread a needle, what do you have to do periodically? You have to really concentrate. What?
Your hand has to be steady.
Your hand has to be steady. And if you stop breathing, your hand is more steady. So any sort of concentration, whether it's physical concentration, mental concentration, etc., you tend to, it looks like this. Okay. So really the only ones you have to explain, per se, are the why is this happening? Why is the depth and rate changing when you change position? Sitting, reclining, standing up. Now, I'm not asking you to answer that right now. But think of what happens to you as far as what's going on body-wise when you sit versus stand versus recline. Recline and standing are pretty much the same thing, pretty much the same answer. So why are these two pretty much the same, and why do they differ? Why do both of these differ from that one? In pretty much the same way. That's the question. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. 8, when you cough, look at coughing. Well, downward on the graph is expiration. What do you do when you cough? What is coughing? Exaggerated what? Expiration. Quite often, you take a deep breath before you cough. Now, if it's reflexive coughing, what does that mean? Reflexive coughing. You can't stop it. Have I ever had that happen before? So I cough like this. That's not reflexive. That's voluntary coughing. When might you have reflexive coughing? You just can't stop it.
Water goes down like accidentally.
Yeah, water goes down your trachea a little bit. Yeah, that happens. That's reflexive. What else might it be reflexive? usually happens more so in places that you don't want it to happen. When you want to be quiet. Ever been in the theater and there's somebody coughing and coughing and coughing, right? That's reflexive coughing more than likely. When would that happen? I mean, like you, when would it happen?
You have a cold.
Quite often when you got a cold, a chest cold, etc., stuff draining down your throat and all that sort of thing. So, whether it is, now this is voluntary coughing, because they took a deep breath first. Reflexive coughing would look more like this. Where you don't take a deep breath first, you just cough. Okay. Now, okay. Number 9. We got, this is what that means. I'm standing here like this, one nostril closed. All right? And I'm breathing. Now what happens to my breathing as I stand there like that? It gets increased rate, right? And what else? And depth increases. Now the question is why? Don't tell me, okay, so that. Don't forget that. Or don't put in your answer because you need, etc. Right? Those are not answers. All right. So, start to breathe. Start to breathe deeper and deeper, and I'm exaggerating. And of course, it would get deeper and deeper and deeper the longer I stood there with my nostril closed. Why is that happening? It's happening automatically. You can't stop it. Right? The answer has to be because this happens, which causes this to happen, which causes this to happen, which causes this. That's the sort of answer you want. All right? Am I straight? So I'm giving you 2 weeks because at least my class has not got to this in lecture. We're going to get to this sort of thing in lecture today. All right. Now the person holds their breath for 40 seconds. Okay? Not very long. 40 seconds is not that long to hold your breath. For some people, maybe. Now, they start breathing again. And what happens to their breathing after they hold their breath? Right after they hold their breath, what happens to their breathing? It goes deeper and faster. Why? All right, I'll give you a hint. The answer is the same as number 9. Answer, well, it's very close to the same answer. You have to use the same sort of logic. This happens because this happens, etc., etc. All right? I don't know why we have 11, 12 instead of just 11, but that's not worth it. All right. The person hyperventilates. What is hyperventilation? I don't do that very long. That is hyperventilation. Now, I can do it intentionally, or sometimes I hyperventilate unintentionally. That's beside the point. I hyperventilate, and then I hold my breath. This is the same person in each of these. They can hold their breath now for 120 seconds, 3 times as long.